Microsoft war. How can we rape someone who does someone who does someone who does someone who does this Microsoft war? How can we rape someone who does someone who does someone who does this Microsoft war? How can we rape someone who doesn't know any better? Know any better? Know any better? Know any better? This Microsoft war. How can we rape someone who doesn't?
What's up, everybody? It's Nick here, back with Unscripted Access, episode number 26. On this week's show, we've got Anthony Taw.
What's up? And this time, I've got enthusiasm.
Thank God it's not the just hey or hello. We got Bronson Fiore.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, Bronson's the one that's really slowed down this week. It's usually the opposite. Bronson and Anthony have changed forces here. Bridget Sexton.
Hey guys.
And Danielle Kirk.
Hey, what's up?
Alright guys, so we are back again. Decent show for you guys. The news week has been kind of slow, but we always have stuff to talk about, and as usual, we'll go on to our rambling rants and go off to topics that shouldn't be discussed, or you wouldn't expect to be discussed, but that's Unscripted Access, so welcome if you are new. You are in for a great show. On this week's episode, we'll start off with the news with the Wii U being sold at a loss. Pretty much a first for Nintendo. If you guys aren't aware, Nintendo usually sells their hardware at a profit, unlike Sony and Microsoft that always sells their hardware at a loss and then makes it up with accessories and software. Wii U's price was announced, $299 and $349, which a lot of people are already saying that's kind of high. But Nintendo recently came out during a press conference, said that we are losing money on every console we sell. Now, yes, they're going to make it up on the software and accessories, but this is kind of huge, stating the fact that Nintendo does not do this. This isn't Nintendo's business model, but they're going a different route. Could it be because they understand that, hey, if we price this thing any higher, $299 and $349 is already pushing it for Nintendo. If it was Sony or Microsoft, people would be like, oh shit, $299, $349, buying one day one. But that's not going to happen. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I think they're going to go with a subscription-based model, but we'll get into that later during the show. But with the Wii U, like I said, it's going to be, what do you guys think? Do you think that Nintendo is going the right route here? Because I personally feel that they are, because if you just bump it up just $50 and Nintendo's touching a $400 price point, Nintendo fans are going to be like, no thank you, time to find another company. So what do you guys think?
Well, if it kicks off, if it kicks off as well as, Microsoft and Sony, how they were backing them on it, if it kicks off as good as everyone thinks it will, then surely they would they'd be able to come out with more games and more, just more things for people to enjoy. And just make up their money. It'll take a long time to make their money up, but I think they'll eventually do it.
This isn't the first time this has happened for Nintendo. They were actually selling the GameCube at a loss for a while there. In the long run, they made a profit on the GameCube. I don't see much of a difference here. And actually, fun fact, if you adjust for inflation, most Nintendo consoles of the past actually do hit around this price point. So, depending on how you see it, that could be...
Right, but you also got to understand that the economy is in a different situation than it has been in the past as well. We're in a situation where you see a 3DS come out for $249 and it doesn't sell, but then they drop it, $70, and then it starts flying off store shelves.
Yeah, exactly.
So you gotta understand the economy is not as healthy as it was back when the GameCube and the PlayStation 2 came out. Yes, I understand inflation, but at the same time, the economy was a hell of a lot better back then. So,
well, the thing is that yes, we're in a recession, but gaming has posted record sales numbers and revenue, even when the rest of the world wasn't in a recession.
Yeah, entertainment and...
People want to escape their reality.
Yeah, entertainment is always going to be one of those industries that keeps going, because people always need to be, people always are going to need to be entertained. But adjusting for inflation, dating back to the original Nintendo, the original Nintendo came out at $200, and if you adjust that for today, it would be $425. The Super Nintendo also came out at $200. Adjusted for today, it'd be $336. The N64 came out at $200. Adjusted for today, it'd be $3. The GameCube came out at $200. Adjusted for today, it'd be $260. The Wii, I actually found surprising, came out at $250. For today, it'd be up to $290. So
wow, that's crazy. Inflation moves a lot faster than I expected.
yeah, same with portables. The original Game Boy came out at $90. Today it would be $166. The Game Boy Color came out at $80. It would be $112. The Game Boy Advance came out at $150. It'd be $200. The DS came out at $150. It'd be $180. And the 3DS came out at $250, and it'd be $255. So, I don't know. I think that it is priced fine. I think Nintendo's going to do fine. I've actually been mulling over getting one for launch because of the spring lineup. This spring, they're coming out with Pikmin and the Wonderful 101. And I know Ashton isn't here, but him and I, every time you bring up the Wonderful 101, we just, like, freak out. Just like, fuck yes! You know, so... I don't know. I think it'll do fine. It obviously has a lot of people talking about it, a lot of people interested in it, because it's sold out. It's going to be the big thing this holiday season. And I think that them getting this early head start, even with weaker technology, it's going to be a real fight for Sony and Microsoft, because when going to look at a system, I'm going to say that the next-gen consoles are probably going to be $500 or a subscription-based model versus Nintendo saying a $350 with a year's worth of games backing it up. You know, you'll have Pikmin, Bayonetta, the Wonderful 101, and I guarantee you next E3 we're going to see a Mario or a Zelda.
And I'm sure by next E3 we'll see another Super Smash Brothers too, because that game always sells millions. And I mean, I'm not a big Nintendo fan, but I love Super Smash Brothers, so like I would not be surprised to see that coming out with the Wii U. But I know we've talked about this during previous podcasts, but do you guys see the Wii U being successful? I mean, well, not necessarily that, because everyone has their different definition of successful. But as far as, let's compare it to like this generation. Personally, I do not think it's even going to come close to the Wii U. To the Wii. Sorry, I don't think the Wii U is going to come close to the Wii. Not even close. Honestly am expecting it to sell similar to what we've seen with like the PS3. That's what I'm expecting to see with the Wii U, just because of the fact that Nintendo grabbed the market with the Wii. They grabbed people that had not bought a console for many generations. Your grandparents, or just even parents, people that aren't retired. Just they don't find the time to play games, but they see this Wii. Hey, it's cool, really, really easy to get into. It's like, but now they're going to be like, okay, there's this Wii U, and they're going to hear about it because Nintendo knows how to market, but at the same time, they're like, okay, that's cool, but I'm fine with my Wii. The Wii was pretty much a reemergence of gaming to a demographic that wasn't into gaming. Now, are they going to automatically jump the gun and go to the Wii U? I don't think so. I think, yes, you're hardcore Nintendo fans. Yes, they will, of course. Some of your hardcore gamers that want to experience the Wii U experience, yes, they'll get it. But the large percentage of people, like I said, the grandparents or the younger kids, I do not see them moving on to the Wii U. I do think this holiday season the Wii U will be the hot seller. Like, I do not expect to see a Wii U on a store shelf this holiday season because they will be selling out. But after this holiday season, I expect to see sales kind of slowly stable out to where they're not selling massive numbers like the Wii was, but they're selling kind of like how the PS3 and 360 were.
I don't think you're ever going to see anything like the Wii ever fucking again. That's never going to happen again for any console in the future. Because that was madness. Okay, that thing was... you could not order that thing on GameStop's website for 2 years. You had to go to the store and hope they had one. Do I think that some of that audience is going to migrate over? I do. Because I think that some of that audience got to try some of the more hardcore games through, like, oh, I really like Mario. Everyone keeps telling me about this Smash Brothers. I'm going to try that. And that leads to the bigger Nintendo cast of, oh, this Link guy's in it. This Zelda game seems cool. And it kind of starts to spread out. I think you're going to see a lot of carryover. And also, Microsoft is absolutely focused on being a media box. They're not a game console anymore, as much as they try and pretend to be. And also, with them wanting to charge a subscription with everything, depending on what Sony does, I actually think the Wii U could be poised to be the big console of this next generation. Because Nintendo, early on here, is really focusing on games. Their entire interface is focused on games. They're talking to as many publishers and developers as they can. You know, they're publishing games by Platinum Games. They're really going out of their way to show this console off for gamers, while still being friendly to their previous audience. I do think it could be the console of choice depending on what Sony does, because I really think Microsoft is shooting themselves in the foot, choosing to focus on subscriptions and media, because at this point, it's coming to the point of where you're going to be able to hook your phone to your TV and do everything an Xbox does except play games. And
yeah, and Microsoft's not going to let up on this, because their sales numbers is all they need to know to keep going forward with that plan. Like, currently Xbox is
Smart glass
leading...
is stupid. I thought that was dumb. I was like, what the fuck?
I don't even know how smart glass works. I think you have to have a Windows Phone and Windows tablet to fully take advantage.
No, they said at their press conference you could use any phone or tablet. But
yeah, but the thing is that the way they were showing it, it's like, hey, while you're watching this movie, we're going to show you a map of the tablet. I'm like, but aren't I supposed to be focusing on the movie itself and not reading a map?
Well, like, not only that, they're so focused on media. Like, you go to the dashboard, and yeah, there's a section for games, but there's so much more. For Xbox Music, $100 a year, all music you want on your PC and your Xbox. You know, go subscribe to this video service, subscribe to this video service. Apps everywhere. And I'm like, you know, they're getting to the point where TVs can do this by themselves, and phones are starting to be able to communicate with TVs, and you can get a far cheaper box. So them trying to push this as a media device, next generation, is going to go horribly, especially with them wanting the Xbox to be a service, like you pay $100, then you pay whatever it is yearly for it.
The patents that I've seen also just make it look even more ridiculous. They're trying to turn your entire living room into a virtual reality machine or something.
Yeah, like
with 3D glass everywhere, Connect 2.0, just like turning your living room into a virtual reality movie.
Like, depending on what Sony does, out of the consoles anyway, I really think the Wii U could be the system for the hardcore. Because at this point, really, with the way graphics are now, I really do not care about how a game looks. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm so focused on design at this point and cool ideas. But the Wonderful 101 has a cel-shaded art style. It looks good enough. Like, that game could totally run fine on probably an iPhone. But the idea behind it of controlling all these like different heroes at once and like being a superhero team, that looks so cool. And the gameplay they're doing, it looks really neat. And they're focusing on games. That's their one focus. Versus Sony, we don't know what they're doing. And Microsoft is such a goddamn heavy media focus, and it's a shame. Because early in the generation, Microsoft was really investing in new IP. They invested in Alan Wake, they invested in Gears, they invested in Mass Effect, and they invested in Viva Pinata and all these IPs, and those sold okay. Some of them became mega hits, some of them just did okay. And they said, well, we can focus on just selling Halo, Fable, Gears, Forza, Dance Central.
Basically, they found what makes the most money.
They found the golden goose, basically. And I think that in the long term, that's going to screw them in the game industry. And I think that Nintendo is seeing the future. And Sony, I feel they're Sony's the blind man in the desert. Like, they're just kind of wandering around, trying a little bit of everything and seeing what sticks. But yeah, so I do think the Wii U will at least get to where the Xbox 360 is. I think that it could branch a gap between hardcore and casual gamers, and I do think it has a lot of potential. It's just, it's just up to Nintendo to get those publishers on board, and Microsoft to continue fucking up. So
I think that Wii U will be successful, but I don't think it will be as successful as the front. Instead, you'll probably never see anything like the Wii again. And I also think that the Wii had a much bigger hook to it, because to be honest, when you see the commercial, they see that you can use a controller and reenact a bowling ball motion, and
when they showed that,
and that itself just like grabs people's attention. It doesn't matter what kind of person you are. If you can do a bowling motion, that's easy.
that grabbed hardcore gamers' attention too, because the first thought was, oh dude, first-person shooters, one-to-one aiming like a mouse. The console first-person shooter problem has been solved. And then they showed that Zelda tech demo, which was fucking like Twilight Princess, where I moved the sword and the shield. Holy crap. Like, that was amazing. Like,
yeah, we didn't exactly see that all the way until Skyward Sword, but it was like, whoa!
And at the same
one-to-one.
time, you can lazy play almost any game too.
well, yeah, but like...
But as far as the commercials, the early days, that just
demos,
grabbed people's attention.
Yeah, that was a cool idea for hardcore gamers, and apparently it appeals to casual gamers. Versus Sony, who came out saying, $599 Ridge Racer, giant enemy crabs.
Crazy advertising that made no sense, and talking about Cell 2.0 what's what?
You will work 2 jobs to buy a PS3. Okay, Ken Kutaragi, you keep thinking that, man.
Maybe if you're Japanese.
Not even if you're Japanese. That thing sold like shit for the first like year and a half. You know, and then like Microsoft was in this weird place of like, we're trying to be better this time, we swear. And they kind of were. They were better than the alternative HD console at the time, and you know, so like Nintendo Nintendo's first year was awesome. Like the first year and a half or so of the Wii, you had Zelda, Mario, Metroid, Smash Brothers, Mario Kart.
We have to emphasize, you're launching with a Zelda game, like a real, fully fledged Zelda game.
Yeah, like, and within the first year, you had a Mario game that redefined 3D platforming. You had a Metroid game that showed off how motion controls could be good for one-to-one shooting. You had the best version of Resident Evil 4. You know, like, you know, like, they had such a strong year and a half, but because they put all the games out up front, you didn't have shit to play for a year after that, and that's when it started to fall out of favor with hardcore gamers. From when it launched to halfway through 2008, nothing bad was said about the fucking Wii amongst hardcore gamers. Nothing.
Well,
besides idiots saying graphics, you know, like, as far as games go, quality games, very little was said bad. You know, it's when the drought happened that the Wii started to get a lot of crap.
And there was a lot of...
Oh, yeah. Like, it was a long drought. Like,
it's just, like, right after Mario came out. Like, Smash Bros. And Mario Kart came out in the same month, I think.
Yeah, it was...
And like, that was serious. It's like, you got 2 insane system sellers coming out in the same month. It's like, wow. And then it just stopped.
It was nothing until Animal Crossing in winter. And then it was nothing again until the spring with Mad World and Punch-Out. And then another fucking just massive drought until New Super Mario Brothers and No More Heroes. And then 2010 was bonkers.
I think that was when just about half of everyone in the internet was saying their Wii was gathering dust. It's because of that.
And 2010 was a great year for the Wii. You got Mario Galaxy 2, No More Heroes 2. You got Donkey Kong Country Returns, Kirby, GoldenEye. Like, that was that year they had that really awesome E3 press conference that just was game after game after game after game. You know, just really showing off, hey, the Wii still has life, and that year was great for the Wii. You know, like, yeah. I feel as though if Nintendo is smart, they are going to space out their releases a little bit more this time. They're going to get out IPs that they haven't used in a while, like F-Zero and Star Fox. And I think that thing can be very competitive.
Yeah. I kind of get the impression they're probably spreading out more because this year, yeah, they got Nintendo Land and New Super Mario Brothers U. But I can kind of tell, like, the next 3D Super Mario is probably going to come the year after that.
I think that the end of next year, we're going to get the Retro Studios game. And then early 2014, we're going to get the new Mario. At the end of that year, we're going to get the new Zelda. So
I think Smash Bros. Is going to come out sometime in 2014 also.
Yeah, so I think that Nintendo is they're playing very smart right now because they don't know what the other guys are doing, and at the rate what Microsoft is doing right isn't that good, and then Sony They're trying. like
The way you do it's like Sony. I try to have faith in you.
It's like, I love the developers you have under you. Like, I love Naughty Dog and David Cage and, all these developers that are under you. But, fuck, Sony, just pick a direction. Sony keeps trying to do we're doing motion control and 3D and hardcore games and casual games and fucking... dude, pick a focus. You are too many things in the air at once. This press conference, they decided to focus mainly on hardcore games, and that was actually a big plus for them.
But Bronson, they didn't just focus on hardcore games, they also focused on the Wonderbook.
The Wonderbook! To bring out the casuals to the PlayStation. The Wonderbook. No, so...
I'm sorry, that joke just had to happen.
It never gets old. But yeah, so Sony, I don't know what they're doing. I have a feeling that they're going to try and have a successful launch and not try and focus so much on tech. With the Vita, Sony needs to learn their lesson that tech doesn't sell a fucking console. It doesn't. What sells a console is great games and a good price point. And they don't seem to stand that. Because, the Vita, load it with tech, load it with a high price point. Solid launch, very good launch lineup for them. But there's been almost nothing since it launched. There's been a couple games here and there, and it's way, 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 way too fucking expensive. PS3, same thing. Vita, same thing. Dude, just make a moderately powerful system with games constantly coming out at a good price point, and you win. That's how it works. That's why
PlayStation 2, maybe?
PlayStation 2. Middle-of-the-road price point. Games started, it kind of had a shitty launch, but, that summer you had Gran Turismo and Madden, and then they fell into, Ico, and, that entire first year was a series of great releases. And that's how you got to do it. You have to, the 3DS, first 2 months were slow. Then you had Zelda. Then, a couple more months happened. You had, you need to space it a bit and come out a good price point. Then this, $250, $270 minimum for a handheld shit doesn't fly. $600 for a console, it isn't going to fly with the general public. Especially if you launch with no games and your best argument is but to sell processor. Ain't gonna fucking fly, folks. I'm sorry.
The PlayStation 3, I always look at it and it's just they got too full of themselves.
They really did.
The PS2, and what's really strange is that the PS2 actually ended up being the best-selling system
ever.
With no dispute. No dispute that it was the best-selling system. And it even made it to #1 of all time, and it was the weakest of the 3 gaming systems, or 4 if you count Dreamcast.
Dreamcast was strong.
Oh, sorry,
yes.
Dreamcast was probably worse, but out of the three that stuck around, the Xbox, the GameCube, and the PS2 was actually the slowest, the least powerful of the 3.
And the fucking PS1 was weaker than the 64, and and as far as 2D games were concerned, it didn't do as well as the Saturn. And, they really, what sold the PS1? It came out a year early, and one of its competition was just retarded. Sega just made bad decisions. And Nintendo was coming out a year late and didn't have any games besides Mario and Killer Instinct. Versus by the time the N64 came out, you had Tomb Raider, and the first Resident Evil, and the first Crash Bandicoot, and I believe maybe the first Spyro, and all these games. That's the thing. You need a attractive price point with a steady release of games. And Sony, they got really arrogant after the PS2, and they launched the PSP at a fucking insane price point at the time of $250 for a handheld.
I just don't know what they were thinking, because they were so crazy. Even the prototype PS3 was even more ridiculous than what they finally settled with. 2 HDMI ports. 2 Ethernet ports, I think, and what was that, boomerang-shaped controller.
Like, what the fuck?
You know what? At first, it seemed like people supported that decision because people were literally getting shot at Best Buy with BB guns over this. And then, of course, it came down.
And I mean, how much of Sony's success is actually them being successful or their competition just being retarded? Like, you look at the PS1. Well, Sega just horrible decision with the Saturn. Like they release all these add-ons for the Genesis, then release the Saturn. They released the Saturn earlier than the day they said, and that pissed off a bunch of retailers who didn't get Saturn, so they wouldn't carry them. And it didn't have a bunch of third-party games, so Sony, and it's $100 more expensive, so Sony just kind of says, hey, we're going to support developers, and we're going to support CDs, and be more efficient. Nintendo is over here like, fuck CDs. We want to have an iron-fisted control we have always had, so we're going to use a cartridge, and we're going to keep delaying the system because, well, we have no games for it yet. So, incompetence there. And then you go to the Dreamcast. Well, Dreamcast was a great system, but didn't have a DVD player, and Sega was on its last leg, so they couldn't really market the damn thing. Had a bunch of great games. Rest in peace, Dreamcast. Xbox, outside, if it didn't have Halo, it would have been a massive fucking failure. And then the GameCube, it got a reputation for being the family-friendly console, and by the time that the GameCube and Xbox were out, the fucking PlayStation 2 had a ton of games for it already. So, like, really, just Sony's decisions to launch early are pretty much what put them in the driver's seat for those 2 times. And they kind of don't get that. They're like, yeah, we're going to focus on tech. And every time that they've done that...
I think at the time, though, tech was a huge deal because the jump to HD was that important in tech.
It was.
Tech sells, and graphics sells. Like, graphics, you can see it right now. You can't really have a 30-second controller play this game now commercial.
Yeah, but the thing is it wasn't that much more technically advanced than the 360. The PS3 is a more powerful console than 360. But you go and you look at those early games and you sit, those early PS3 games next to those early Xbox games, and you're like, well, the Xbox is $200 cheaper and has games, and they about look the same, so yeah, gonna go that route. Like that, just, oh, God,
Something I remembered from the early PS3 days, I didn't care much about the PS3 back then, but there was this one game involved controlling dragons. It was really cool.
Lair.
And to watch that game crash and burn pretty much said, you know what? Yeah, I'm not going to get a PlayStation 3 in it.
No, I loved my PS2. My PS2 was one of my favorite consoles. It is my favorite console of all time. I loved Kingdom Hearts and Devil May Cry and Metal Gear Solid, and I loved, and later on I ended up loving the Persona games and Gran Turismo. And just the PS3, like, it was too expensive. It had no games until midway through 2008, or not a wide enough selection of games. And it just was, why would you buy this? Like, other than you wanted a Blu-ray player. So, yeah.
Whew. Bronson segment of Unscripted Access.
Yeah. Okay, well, apparently we're the only ones here. Bridget?
I'm here. Yeah.
Anything to comment on? Because I'm done.
I think you guys basically said it all. I mean, I think it's gonna do. Are we still talking about the Wii U? I mean, things
yes.
Kind of.
Yes.
Okay. I think it's gonna do well with its fans and hardcore gamers. I also think it's gonna do well with like families that have younger kids, probably within the range of like 8 to 12, 13-ish, because they always kind of want the next thing like that. So, I mean, yeah.
Alrighty. So, Nick is currently doing something. So, what do you guys want to talk about?
I don't know what you want to talk about.
Well, I guess I could link them to this. If you want to hear more about this like argument that Sony kind of got super lucky, go look up an episode of the Game Over Thinker called "The Emperor Has No Clothes." I think it's episode 39, and it presents a really compelling argument. So, yeah. Also, Broads and Rants starts this week. So, yeah.
Yeah, something that's kind of concerned me though is that all of this Sony, we don't really know what we're doing. Somehow, it conveniently happens right when Sony is having huge financial problems. Like right when the news came that Sony was like losing billions. I start hearing, and all of a sudden, like Sony was like looking great, and then all of a sudden I start hearing news of financial problems. Next thing you know, for some reason, the gaming division starts having issues too of not really thinking straight and making questionable decisions.
Yeah. Well, so have you guys been watching that new live action Halo series, Forward Unto Dawn?
No.
It's pretty good. Anthony, I know you dig sci-fi. I think you'll really like it.
Oh, I don't know that I'm that deep into sci-fi, but I'll look at it eventually.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. It comes as a movie in my Halo Collector's Edition, so we could watch it if you want. When I picked that up in 2 weeks.
Great.
Ooh.
Anyone else stoked for Halo 4? Halo 4?
I might get it. Maybe.
Ooh, Halo 4. Yeah.
All right, yeah. Now we've talked about the pricing of the Wii U and how, yes, you look at inflation and it doesn't seem to be priced that bad, but we've already talked about with the economy changing and everything like that. But if Nintendo is selling the Wii U at a loss, and this is a Nintendo console and it's being priced at $299 and $349, Sony and Microsoft, okay, we already saw the PlayStation 3 come out $500-$600. Xbox, 360 came out at $400, I believe, if I'm correct.
It was 3 for the core, 4 for the Pro.
Really, we're counting the core system?
Okay, yes. It's just like the $500 PS3. When that thing, like the $500 PS3, no Wi-Fi and a 20 gig hard drive. NoobTube called it the retard station. Yeah, this is the retard 360.
Okay, so and that I believe the core station didn't even have Wi-Fi, did it?
No, Xbox didn't have Wi-Fi until the.
Oh yeah, that's right. The adapters. God, it's my God, technology. But
those things still cost $80, and that's still expensive.
Yeah, if you have an old Xbox.
That is ridiculous.
Like me.
At this point, you might as well buy a Slim, because if you buy a Slim and you trade in Forza and you can probably sell Skyrim online, you probably cut the price from $250 down to like $170. Yeah.
See, the thing is, my Xbox still functions really well. It's just.
Well, yeah. Then you can sell your old Xbox for like $100, and there you go. You just got a Slim for like $70.
Oh, really? Like my Xbox is perfectly fine in every way. It just doesn't have Wi-Fi on it.
Well,
this drive's a bit
Anthony,
noisy.
Mine was very not fine, as it sounded.
Yeah,
like...
I know. It was turning itself on in the middle of the night. And that was pretty.
No,
scary.
that was the other one. That was the that was the first one I had. The second one, the second Pro, the disc tray was really loud and it sounded like a chainsaw whenever I was playing games. Like, and then.
So it was doing that while playing Gears 3 also, right?
Yeah, and then I had to go Fondy on the disc tray, which means like I'd press the button and it wouldn't get open. I'd have to smack the top of it, and it would open. And anytime I had people over to play Rock Band, I'd just go, "Ay." So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but talking about that, who knows what these next generation consoles are going to cost? More than likely, I can guarantee you they're going to cost more than the Wii U, because you look at the hardware of the Wii U, not that impressive. Yes, it's more advanced than the PS3 and 360, but then again, it should be. It's 7 years newer hardware. These next generation consoles, of course, Sony and Microsoft are going to sell them at a loss, but there's only so much of a loss they can take, especially up front, especially from Sony, where they've lost so much money.
Sony was losing, what was it, $400 a PS3?
Something ridiculous.
What I remembered was that the PS3 was being sold for $600, but it costed $850 to make, but that doesn't include shipping, marketing, or any of that.
Yeah, so they were probably losing about good $300 about on each console. Which people are like, oh, that's nothing. They'll make it up with games, but it's like, okay, you factor out how many millions were sold. I'm not saying it sold a ton, but at launch, let's just say at launch they sold however many million. Because they did fly off the shelves for the first couple weeks, and then within a month you could find them. But that's a lot of money lost. Now, yes, they did make it up, but the PlayStation division has not been doing too well. If PlayStation fires half of their PR right before the holiday season, something's not going right for them. And speaking on that, we might as well touch on this now. Sony as a company is not doing that great. They said they're looking to cut 10,000 jobs just within the next few months. Now, do keep in mind this is Sony as a company, not PlayStation. So you're talking about their whole electronics division, which covers camcorders, televisions, home theater systems, tablets. So you have that, then you have the PlayStation division, then you have Sony Music. So Sony is a huge company, but 10,000 jobs is 10,000 jobs. Plus, you aren't firing people if your company's doing well. So keeping that in mind, with the next PlayStation, Sony's going to have to be careful on how much they lose out the gate, and even Microsoft has, but they're still going to have to stay competitive with pricing, which is going to be difficult. So we've seen Microsoft, they've been following the subscription-based model with the 360, where you get the 4GB Xbox 360 Connect for $100 if you commit to a 2-year $15 a month subscription. Now, yes, you may be like, well, you're going to pay a lot more in the long run, and you're right, but it's called subsidized pricing, same way a cell phone works. Only difference is with a cell phone bill, that monthly bill you're paying is also for cell phone service. Yes, this $15 a month does include Xbox Live, but Xbox Live doesn't cost $15 a month.
But like my big thing with this is like, motherfucker, I need a phone. Like regardless, like I'm gonna have to pay a phone
right,
bill,
but this is the thing. But this is the thing, Bronson.
Home phone or cell phone. I need a phone in my life. It needs to exist. I don't need a motherfucking game console in my life. And $15 a month to play fucking and then I started to pay for the console partially, you know, subsidized cost, like you said, seems asinine and ridiculous to me. And shit like this is exactly why, like I said last week, fucking PC gaming master race.
Right, but Bronson, so let's just imagine this, the next Xbox and PlayStation, they both have an incredible lineup, great games, whatever. So let's say the console costs $600, $700. I don't think it sounds outrageous, I know, but at the same time, it's like you factor in inflation, and there you go. You're looking at about the same cost as like the PS3 when it came out, possibly even a little bit less, because the PS3 at $600 inflated now, maybe a little bit above $700. But anyways, you have the next PlayStation, next Xbox, great software lineups. You're interested in them, but they're $600 a piece, or you can get them for $200, but you pay $15 a month. If you don't have that $600 available, you may be like, well, I've got $200 and $15 a month, I'll pay that off. It may not be for everyone. For me personally, yes, I'd rather just plop the $600 down and be done with it. But you got to realize there's people that are in college, they're like finding college debt or whatever, but they can afford that $15 a month and that $200 investment. They cannot afford forking up $600.
Thing is I'm broke a lot of the time. But the thing is, I managed to save money to get these consoles. You can save money. There's always a way to put away some extra cash to buy these in a couple months. Like, going into a subsidized contract on a game console seems fucking insane to me. And then paying $600 to $700 for a console seems even fucking more insane to me. You know, I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? You know, like, if you want both systems and you don't want to pay $30 a month for 2 years, it's 2 years, right?
Yes.
For 2 years, then you fucking, like, you have to spend $1,200 to $1,400. Like, at that point, you're paying more than it costs to fucking pay, you know, Nintendo and a good PC combined.
But we're not going to get into this again, but Bronson, once again, America is not as smart as you think. PC gaming is not as easy to get into as you think.
I know, but just God.
Trust me, dude. Trust me. Have retail experience with sales. Deal with American customers. You'll be like, yeah, Nick was right. Because these customers are dumbasses. I mean, I'm not exaggerating. Anyone that listens to the show, if you've worked retail, let Bronson know in the comment section. Please, let them know how stupid some of these Americans are.
Like, I get that, but usually the audience that listens to this show and is a hardcore gamer are normally pretty intelligent. Like, I go to PAX, I go to these events, I even go to something local like Snafu Con.
Right, but those are conventions where the intelligent people that know how to do that attend. That is a very small percentage.
But a lot of gamers are really intelligent, and they still do make up, like, a big chunk of the market.
There is a good market, you're right. But then at the same time, you've got to look at the exclusives. You aren't going to get God of War. You're not going to get... Well, Halo hits console years before it hits PC. Same with Gears of War. And then you have, I mean, your Grand Theft Auto, Gran Turismo, Forza...
Grand Theft Auto's on the PC. That was...
Well, you're right. That did come out. That did come day and date, right? That hit. So Grand Theft Auto is an exception, but outside of that, you've got all these huge titles that come out. You can only get on the consoles. I mean, consoles is where people when someone thinks most of the population, when they're talking about gaming, they're not gaming on a PC. They are gaming on a console. Now, yes, World of Warcraft and those games are doing great, but part of the reason why those are so successful is you don't need a huge rig to run it. Someone can use their school laptop to run World of Warcraft. But these hardcore games where you need advanced hardware, you're either going to have to know how to build a computer from scratch, or you're going to have that larger investment to buy a computer from a manufacturer where they freaking rape you because they charge through the roof.
The thing is, though, is like, let's say that you pay that, $200 and then $15 over 24 months. How much is that? Anthony, add that up for me.
I'm sorry. What do I need to add up?
15 times 24.
Well,
math, everybody.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, 15 times 24.
That's $360.
So you're paying $560, and then I look at that.
No, 360.
Yeah, plus the 200 you have to plop down for the system. So if you're paying $560, and if you do this for 2 systems, then you're going, once again, over the $1,000 mark, and right now I know a couple sites where you can get a rig built for you for that same price. Everything's pre-installed, you just plug and go, and that's like, in PC gaming, like I've said, is getting more and more popular. Like with and also games are trying to scale back the system specs for a lot of games, so. Now, with the next gen, that'll obviously change because of the increased hardware specs. But this whole subsidized console idea to me seems asinine. And the fact that someone would go for it seems nuts. Like,
do we have any are there like any data or news that says how successful this program
Well, see, that's the
has been
thing
since it
I'm
launched?
curious about. It's okay, so Microsoft, they've expanded the program, so rather than just having the 4 gigabyte and Connect for $100, now you can get the 250 gigabyte 360 and Connect for $150. Same 2-year, $15 a month commitment. I would think that if this program wasn't successful, they wouldn't have even bothered expanding into another platform. And, I mean, it's like, well, it makes more sense because, like, if someone wanted to go that pricing, they didn't want the 4 gigabyte because of the limited space. Now they have that option. Now, yes, Bronson, I mean, there are people like me. I'd rather just pay one time, and as long as they offer 2 different options, I'm fine with it. But I'm not opposed to them also offering subscription-based models to build their consumer base. Yes, it may sound stupid, but you gotta understand, someone wants that next PlayStation. They want that next Xbox, but they've only got $200 in their pocket. They don't got $600. Oh, but I've got to pay an extra $15, $20 a month for the next 2 years. Well, guess what? I really want the console. I got $200 here. Let me go ahead and buy it.
But like, you can also wait like 2 or 3 months, or like even a month, to round up the cash to go pick that up. Like, why? Once
again, most Americans are impatient.
This country just so
Bronson, you are giving this country. I am. Let me go ahead and put a disclaimer. I am a very proud American. I would never live in any other country. But Bronson, you are giving America too much credit.
I have high hopes for this country, and every time I get disappointed. So, the thing is though. And like, I look at that, and this just screams like online passes and fucking, all this other shit. Just another way to rape consumers who don't know better. And I'm so tired of that shit. I'm so tired of it from especially I'm so tired of it from Microsoft. They're the biggest fucking ones. Like, I'm sick of it from Sony and to Nintendo to the extent of which they do it. But I'm really fucking sick of it with Microsoft. Xbox Live is, at this point, a joke. Like, yeah, you get more stable connections in party chat. That's it. The fact that I can't access Netflix on my Xbox unless I have a gold account, and same with a bunch of other apps, is asinine. The fact that I have to pay to be able to play online, on which I can get the equivalent experience on my PC, actually a better experience on my PC, for free, and an almost equivalent experience on the PlayStation is just fucking ridiculous. And honestly, if it weren't for Halo coming out this year and the Madden League I'm in, I probably would not have paid for gold for another year. And this just screams of that. Just Microsoft going, how can, we rape someone who doesn't know any better? That's...
My chief problem right now with the Xbox 360 is, ever since Microsoft went down this path starting about 3 years ago, I haven't been able to find a single outstanding quality about the 360 today.
I mean,
if it was 2007, I would have said, yeah, there's a huge amount of games coming out, everyone's on Xbox Live, things are looking good. Their system's getting more reliable, hard drives are getting bigger, value's there. It's looking great, but today it's just, I can't find an outstanding quality.
Well, about 2 or 3 times a year, they put out a couple of amazing games that make you keep the system around. And if you're not willing to go buy a PlayStation or Switch, or all your friends are on Xbox Live, yeah, you're stuck paying the fee of the yearly fee and the what. But this is the first year since 2007 that I think the 360 has had a better year than the PS3. Granted, both of them have had terrible years. There's not many exclusive games on either that matter, and they're just kind of at a trickle. And you can tell they're gearing up for the next year and the next gen. But just this whole thing, like I said, it just feels like a way to get on, people who don't know any better, and that's so depressing to me. And just every chance the game industry gets to fuck the consumer, they seem to be doing online passes, make it so that used games effectively become... I'm going to go on a rant on this later for a video, but make it so used games prices have to, go down because of the online pass, which means they get less trade-in value. In the long term, this just hurts them. It hurts the public perception of Microsoft. It hurts in the fact that they can't trade in old games for, more credit to buy newer games. It's just a fucking horrible cycle here that they're doing to themselves. And the only time, and Microsoft's the worst offender. Sony's not too bad. Nintendo, they're always off doing their own thing. And Steam actually treats me like a human being, which that's nice. Not a fucking cow to be milked. So, yay for them.
Yeah, I think we talk about this during every podcast, though. So let's we always get on the topic of how stupid Americans are, and Bronson endorses Steam and hates on Xbox Live. I think that had become a tradition with our show, every single week. But yeah, what I've been kind of leading up to is, do you guys see the next PlayStation and the next Xbox, possibly fall in subscription-based model? I would not be surprised. I really want it. If we're seeing Microsoft,
I don't think so. I don't think so though, because besides phones, how many other electronics actually do this?
If Microsoft has this program is successful with 360, I can see them doing it. I don't see Sony doing it because Sony still has some bit of shred of respect for their customers and their customers' level of intelligence.
You're acting see, this is the thing. I don't look at it as them. Yes, they're making more money than if you buy it outright. But that's life, just like credit cards. You've got interest rates. It's the same principle.
And if you have more than one credit card, you're an idiot.
Bronson, do you know? I don't know those exact numbers, but I can guarantee you the average American has at least 4 or 5 credit cards.
And that's ridiculous.
But that is welcome to America, Bronson Fiore.
I have 2, and I think it's asinine.
Welcome to America. Okay, why do you think our economy is where it's at now?
Because people are fucking stupid.
Okay, then I'm drilling the point to your head right now, Bronson. God. Companies need to accommodate for that. It is a business, and it's okay, we either do not get a sale at all, or we take a huge cut, but we're guaranteed a paycheck from them every single month for the next 2 years while they're buying our software, while they're buying our accessories. And I guarantee both Sony and Microsoft are going to charge for online, so that's additional money. Now, will that monthly subscription include online? If it's anything like Xbox is doing now, then it would. But you get the point. Do not be surprised if they do it, because this thing, I feel if Microsoft does it, Sony would have to, because it's like, okay, you have someone to buy a next generation console. They see the Xbox, $200, but it's $15-$20 a month for 2 years. You have the PlayStation, $600, $600 period, no way out of it. That's going to be a tough sell for Sony.
How far are they going to go with this plan before consumers realize how stupid is this? Because right now I'm feeling like I'm pretty like originally it was okay paying Xbox Live for Netflix, all right, and then it got to the point in which you got to pay Xbox Live in order to do anything else related to online services on Xbox, Netflix, Hulu Plus, and YouTube, Internet Explorer. To do any of that, you have to put everything.
And you have to pay for all those individual
services. All of a sudden, all these bills could end up outweighing your internet bill if you decide to fully utilize everything that's offered on there. And eventually, it could get to the point where the consumer realizes what gives.
Yeah, whatever.
It's getting annoying.
The appeal of console gaming was I spend $300, to $400. I get something that for the next 4 to 6 years is going to play games that may not be the best graphically, but I'm going to get certain genres and certain games PC doesn't get at the time, and and that's how it's going to work. It'll be nice and simple. Don't have to swap out parts. Don't have to worry about, and if I want an online game, in the case of the PS2 and Xbox, I just plug in an Ethernet cable and go. And, and it's become like PC gaming's retarded exploitive cousin. And I really do hope that this fails miserably. I do hope that, the American public, or just generally people go, okay, I can get a 360 or, the 720 for $200 and, or for $200 and pay, $20 a month. And that ends up being, $700, $600, or I can just pay up front $500 for a PS4 or, the 720 itself. Well, who the fuck would pay the extra, $100, $200 over 2 years? That's fucking crazy. I really hope that's what happens. People actually think. I really do pray to God Sony doesn't make me pay for online, because if so...
Dude, come on, dude. Let's be honest here. Seriously? It's common. If they don't charge for online, I will be extremely shocked. Extremely shocked.
I will be extremely happy that this industry still has a soul beyond indie gaming.
I don't know, dude.
I could see Microsoft doing it. I don't see Sony doing it as much because they haven't tried it, they haven't mentioned it, they haven't thought about it. If it's successful with 360, I see Microsoft trying it at first, and if it goes well, they're going to continue to do it. Of course, if not, they'll just let it peter out. And then Sony, depending on how well Microsoft does with it, they might try it later on. I actually think that I'll probably take a guess and say the next consoles are going to launch at $500 a piece. I'm hoping for 4, but I'm going to say 5. And hope that, that they choose to adjust to be more consumer friendly, because you think, okay, yeah, $200 up front, a monthly bill, I can afford that. But then, you factor in the other bills that come with that if you want to utilize it. Netflix, okay,
all right,
that's $10.
Okay, Bronson.
Netflix, that's $10.
All right, Bronson, we're going to get off this topic, because once again, why do you think this country's in debt? Why do you think the credit card companies are laughing as they just keep racking the money? People don't know how to budget. They don't. Okay? The companies will take advantage of that. Why do you think these companies offer 24 months no interest when you buy this TV? Obviously, if they had customers making their payments, they would be losing money because they'd have to wait to make that money. How do they make their money? Hey, someone forgets to pay their bill. Guess what? We're tapping you with interest. That's how it works.
I'd like to say I paid off my TV in 1 month.
You did. You did. But if everyone was like you, they would not offer no interest financing.
God damn it.
Okay, Bronson, I'm trying to nail it into your brain.
I just have more faith in people. America, rise up.
Oh God. Anyways, let's continue. So, trying to pretty it up a little bit. Microsoft has updated their dashboard, and Sony has updated their PlayStation Store. It's kind of crazy how it happened like during the same week.
Actually, in North America, Sony didn't get the store.
Well, yeah, it just went live today, didn't it?
It was supposed to go live yesterday, but they're
having issues or something.
Yeah, they're delaying the store update in North America because it's all glitchy. But we did get the firmware update, so trophies are now ordered differently, and they're under a new tab.
Gotcha.
Sweet. I'd like to talk about the new Xbox Live dashboard.
Go right ahead.
Not much different, really. Biggest difference I could tell is that they made all the buttons bigger, which in Bronson's case is a good thing because he uses Kinect.
Like the new interface is still bad, but it's not as bad.
Yeah, everything's laid out a little bit better. All the buttons are bigger, so it's easier to see things. Still it's not quite as annoying with the advertisements though, and it seems to be a bit more responsive than before. Biggest feature, obviously, they love to talk about is Internet Explorer, which I found out to be very useless for the sole reason that you can't use Flash on it.
Well, let's be honest here. Who uses their console as a web browser in the first place? I mean...
No one.
Ashton, when his computer broke. He was always complaining to me about the PS3's browser, and it was hilarious.
Yeah, well, the thing though is that the Internet Explorer on Xbox is actually easier to use than the PS3 browser, but...
well, I would hope so. Oh, God, how can you get worse than the PS3 web browser?
What's funny is that PlayStation updated it a few months ago, and it didn't make it any better at all.
Yeah, but, great job.
But but the Xbox Internet Explorer, I like the interface. It's very simple. It basically, you have a mouse cursor and you just control the mouse cursor to your left analog stick and select style. It's quite easy to use. Still very useless though, and typing is really annoying because you don't type as with a conventional Xbox keyboard. You type with a cursor.
Yeah, that is really obnoxious. I noticed that. It doesn't.
I'm pretty sure you can plug in a USB keyboard, but I don't think many people do.
I don't think you can, knowing Microsoft. I think you're gonna have to buy one of those chat pads.
I don't know though, because I plugged in a USB keyboard into my Xbox and it worked very well for messaging and all that stuff.
It worked? Okay, well, that surprised me.
Although no one really does it because most Xboxes sit in the living room far away from the counter, so...
Well, yeah, I'm in a weird situation where, like, you know, my chair is roughly 4 feet away from my TV, so...
Yeah. Also,
I had a wireless keyboard until I got a chat pad.
Okay.
That was USB.
Yeah. Also, though, I found out that trying to watch videos and listening to music on your Xbox hard drive no longer forces you into Zune because that's officially dead.
The Zune is dead? You don't say.
Well, it used to be that whenever
I thought it was the iPod killer, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened?
It's just
like that Halo 3 promotional Zune they put out where like the Zune, they were rebranding it like Zune HD, and it was coming out like they had this special Halo 3 one that had all this like the Halo soundtracks and a special Red versus Blue episode and all this special crap built in. Oh, Microsoft, you do funny things.
Yeah, but it used
just
to be...
Just like the Microsoft Surface is going to take over the iPad, right?
Oh, man, just to make your home one expensive entertainment box.
Yep, you gotta...
Essentially. Like, not just your living room, your whole home will become an entertainment box.
I'm going to pay $150 a year for Xbox Live and Xbox Music.
But Bronson, we also must factor in our LTE 4G Wi-Fi Xbox 8 Windows 8 tablet and Windows Phone.
Yep. I'm going to be listening to music.
And we also must cough up an additional $700 for our brand new Windows 8 laptop.
No, on my drive home, I'm going to be listening to my music on my Windows Phone. I'm going to smart glass it to my tablet, and I'm going to smart glass it the music from Xbox Music to my Xbox, because great. Okay, so
as I was saying, It used to be that whenever I wanted to watch a video or listen to a song off my USB drive on my Xbox, it would force Zoom to open, and that was incredibly terrible because it just wasted time and it was outright annoying. Now, though, they kind of switched back to the old system, which is good, but I don't know if anyone notices because that's kind of buried in the apps menu. Not much else in that, really. Just, it's basically interface tweak.
Yeah, I also heard that and I heard a lot of people were like really upset about this, but they removed the Twitter and Facebook apps because
because now it's what, Bronson?
Because you can use a web browser, and it's like, well, okay, have Apple tell iPhone users, yeah, we're removing the Twitter and Facebook app because you've got Safari on your phone. I mean, that's stupid. Like, they must. The only thing I think of is
just an outright. This is an outright usability problem because now you actually have to type in your login info. I don't know if they save the cookies or not, but you have to type in your login info using that cursor.
Yeah, like the only thing I could think of is that Microsoft had some deal with Twitter and Facebook, and they didn't want to renew the contract. So they had no choice. Like, that's the only thing I think of why they would have done that. It's like, otherwise, it's like you could at least left it on there. It wouldn't have hurt you guys. Like, that makes no sense. The only thing I think of, there had to have been some contract that needed renewed, and Microsoft didn't want to pay up for it. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. But I mean, I never use Twitter or Facebook on my consoles. I only use Twitter and Facebook on my phone. So it doesn't impact me. I could care less. When I hop on my console, I don't web browse. When I hop on my console, I play games. The only exception is on my PS3, I also use it as a Blu-ray player. Outside of that, my consoles are used for games, not social networking, not web browsing, not throwing virtual popcorn at virtual characters while trying to watch a movie. That is not what I'm into. So it doesn't impact me, but I know, Bronson, you love and miss the Netflix feature. I know that's...
dude, I'm telling you, like, get some friends together, pick a really awful movie, and just make fun of it, and you will have a great time.
I don't think you can do that on Netflix anymore, though.
No, you can't. No, trust me. Ashton and I used to do it all the time. We would watch these terrible, horrible documentaries about the world's most backwoods people and make fun of it. And, you know, that is gone, and that sucks. It's such a minor feature, but it was such a cool feature. Yeah, but, oh well.
Yeah, but I mean, it's cool to see revisions. I haven't actually experienced. I mean, I haven't hopped on my console in I don't know how long, but the PlayStation Store, from what I've seen, does look pretty cool. It hasn't really launched in North America here yet as the time of this recording, so none of us have had the chance to experience it. But from what I've seen, it definitely looks. I like the look of it. Hopefully it's faster. I've heard it's faster. That's what they really need to work on because the speed of the PlayStation Store sucks, especially as far as downloads. Like, they really need a server update. But that's probably something we won't see until the next PlayStation. So
they really need to learn how to install a game while it's downloading. Because, hey, I'm going to download Starhawk on PlayStation Plus because it's free. All right, that took an hour. All right, another 30-minute install, guys. And then boot up the game. We have an update.
500 megabytes.
Yep, have fun waiting. You know, like, I have to play a game while waiting to play my game. Like, there's a problem here.
Yeah,
Xbox actually does a better job with that because it just downloads, and once that download's done, bam, you can start the game right away. If there's a patch, it only takes 10 seconds to get it, and you're done. Bam, go.
Like, you know, granted, Microsoft's certification process is a lot more hard.
Yeah, but in the case of actually downloading a game and getting going, it's a lot easier.
Yeah, no doubt. No, I downloaded Penny Arcade. You know, it was 500 megabytes. Boot up the game. Oh, I have an update. 20 seconds, back into the game. You know, that process with the PS3. All right, download the game. Takes an hour. Boot up. You know, takes another 20 minutes to install. All right, boot up the game. I'm ready to play. You know, 500 megabyte patch. Okay, that's not. 20 minutes. All right, now I have to wait for that to install. All right, I finally play the game. I mean, I swear to God, this is a tactic to sell more Vitas so you can play a game while you wait for your game.
If the Vita had games.
Well, yeah, that's... See, and that's the problem with the plan.
Yep.
Actually, no, the Vita had just got Little Big Planet, which was actually pretty good, and everyone tells me Decoro's great, and hey, Persona 4 the Golden's coming out next month, people. One more month to go, everyone. The Vita actually has, like, one of the best games you could ask for on it.
If you guys do not know already, Bronson is a obsessed fan of the Persona franchise. But moving along, because we all know Microsoft's Surface tablet is going to wipe out the iPad and Apple will go out of business.
Oh yes, definitely. Without a doubt, this thing will be the new revolution of computing.
Dude, smart glass taking over the living room, taking over...
This thing will not just turn your living room into the entertainment center. It will turn your house into an entertainment box.
Yeah.
And it will turn your living room into virtual reality with Xbox 720 and Kinect 2.0.
To quote Matt and Trey Parker, I'm going to be playing my game console while on my phone, using my tablet, plugged into my refrigerator, which is plugged into the oven. Yeah. Great. Super. All right, go ahead, Nick.
But, yeah, so Apple, as I'm sure you all know, I mean, when Apple announces something, the world just knows it's Apple. I mean, whether you love them, hate them, whatever, you can't get around it. So they announced...
I just got a 4S, and oh my god, it's amazing.
Missing out, bro. I'm already on the iPhone 5.
Well, I only had a 4S, and the upgrade wasn't enough for me to be like,
You gotta remember, Nick, Bronson went from a 3GS to a 4S. That's a huge jump already.
Yeah, that is a really big jump.
Yeah, okay, like, when having a flash for my camera and not having the Facebook app freeze all the time is amazing.
How's the Retina display?
It's awesome, dude.
Oh, yeah, you didn't even have the Retina display, did you?
No, I really noticed that. Like, the colors are...
Dude, it makes a huge jump, dude. And the crazy thing is, dude, I went from the 4S to the 5, and because of how the 5's designed, where it doesn't have that additional glass layer over the screen, I noticed a huge jump. So I can only imagine what it's been like for you going from a non-Retina to Retina.
Yeah, no, I, the first time I really noticed it, I didn't notice much in the menu, but I listened to music and I clicked on the mini bosses who they do retro game music, but in like rock form, and they have a very vibrant cover album to their music, and just, dude, I was like, whoa. Sorry, that was their music. But yeah, so...
Hey, Unscripted Access brought to you by Apple with total praise for the 4S.
Yeah, you should go buy an iPhone. They're pretty fucking dope. So, yeah.
But, yeah, so they announced the iPad mini. It wasn't really a surprise. They refreshed their Mac lines. Once again, it was not really a surprise. I think the big surprise was they announced another iPad, not the iPad mini, but a refresh of their larger iPad. iPad that came out this March has been refreshed. So for you people that don't know, the third generation iPad is called the new iPad, which is what the new one's called, the new iPad. So it's like the last one's the new iPad, this one's the new iPad. What the hell's the difference? I'm gonna leave that to Apple's marketing geniuses. But moving along, the third generation iPad had the A5X chip. Then Apple releases the A6 chip with the iPhone 5, which is more powerful than the A5X. So then what's Apple do? They come out with another iPad that has the A6X, which is double the speed of the A5X, making it more powerful than the iPhone 5's A6 chip. And it has the new Lightning port, and that goes along with the iPad mini, which the iPad mini has the A5 chip. So yeah. Love it.
Something of note for the iPad mini. The iPad mini costs $320, and it does not come with a Retina display.
No, the iPad mini honestly is not something I'm not interested in. Just because it's not Retina does not mean it's not a wonderful display. It still has double the pixels of your 1080p television, so it's very crisp. However, it does have the A5 chip, which, let's see here, that was used with the iPhone 4?
4S?
No, the 4S used the 5X. Wait, I'm confused right now.
The iPhone 4 used the...
Wait, the 4S
I believe I believe it is the 5X. Let me check.
Wait, no, because that was with the iPad. So it uses the same chip as iPhone 4S, A5. Yeah, A5. Okay. So the iPad Mini is using a processor that's been in a phone for over a year. It's a non-Retina display. However, it's Apple, and it's $320, and it has iPad attached to it.
Okay, so the iPhone 4S uses an A5.
Yes.
The iPad 3rd Gen had the 5X.
Yes. So an
iPad
at $320. Good luck getting one this holiday season if you're interested. I'm putting it out there right now because it's almost impossible. It's hard to find an iPhone 5 now. But you say, hey, there's an iPad, $320, and there's no contract tied to it. Yeah. If you want one, you better pre-order it. Otherwise, you're probably not going to get it for the holiday season. Apple, once again, they are geniuses. They are going to make bank. And I feel really sorry for any other tablet manufacturer. Because the only really advantage you've had, other than hardcore Android fans, is the price. And guess what? You no longer have that. Because even if your tablet's at $200, people will be like, oh, it's only $100 more, $120 more, I'm going to get the iPad. Whereas before, it's like, oh, it's $300 more.
Something I've learned about having used both iOS and Android for quite a bit is that Android is definitely less expensive, but iOS wins in usability. Whether that usability is worth the extra $100 or $200 is up to you. But the usability is actually that much better because the Android has some minor annoyances that adds up to a somewhat noticeably harder to use device.
Yes.
So yes, you do save money going Android, but you're probably going to have a harder time using your tablet.
So, putting that into the gaming perspective, yeah, the new iPad, not the iPad Mini, but the new next generation iPad. I'm calling it iPad 4. Screw it.
Yeah,
screw
just
Apple.
call it iPad 4. It's like, what their marketing is just causing our brains to just twist it inside out.
So, yeah, so the iPad 4 has a 6X, which is double the processing and graphics of the previous iPad that came out in March, and that one was incredibly impressive, but now that's doubled. So now you have the iPhone 5 with an A6 chip. It's a 4-inch screen powered by this massively powerful processor. Then you have the iPad powered by this massively powerful processor. So visuals, like I said, and I've been saying this for well over a year now, Apple needs to get their controls locked down. Once they got the controls locked down and they're able to use that, $150 billion, probably soon to be $200 billion after the holiday season, I think they really need to use that to get game developers on board and build full out, blown out games, get a control system, and guess what? Sony, yeah, good luck with the Vita. Because yes, you're going to have the exclusives, but guess what? You already have the... Like I said, there's games on that were using the iPhone 4S hardware, not the 5, the 4S hardware. Go check out, what's that game called that I recommended a couple of shows back? Dead Trigger. Check out Dead Trigger and find a PlayStation Vita title on the market that has the visuals of that game.
And not just talking visuals, like there are good games on the iPhone that kick the shit out of some Vita games, such as Bastion and The Walking Dead.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, the only thing Apple does not have on lock right now are controls, and then the fact that they do need some more full-out, blown-out games, which they already have some. And guess what? They're like $8. I mean, Nova is almost like has its own full single-player, multiplayer, maps. It's like, it's there, folks. If you don't see it, you're blind. So, yeah. Any thoughts?
I looked up some figures. The PlayStation Vita was highly advertised with quad-core graphics, right?
Yes. But core is not everything.
I know, but the A6X now has pretty much the same amount.
Right.
Let me look more into this, but...
There's obviously a lot more because you look at benchmarks of the iPhone 5, which is a dual core, compared to the Galaxy S3, which is a quad core. Some benchmarks the iPhone outperforms it, other ones they're neck and neck. So how the CPU is built plays a large role into that. But you got to keep in mind, PlayStation Vita came out this year too, and you've got phones and tablets out doing it, and it's like, okay, the Vita, if they want it to be like the PSP, is going to be on the market for what, 7-8 years. Okay, our iPhone by then is probably going to have freaking 128 cores in it, enabled to power freaking 100 high-definition television streams at the same time. And so, I mean, it's like, yes, I understand visuals aren't everything, but the people that discount iPhone and iPad gaming has been the graphics. Well, that's taken away. Controls, okay, they let Apple fix that, and games are progressively becoming better. Like, people, if you do not see Apple being a force to be reckoned with in the gaming industry, please just do your research. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming.
The Apple A6X graphics chip is very similar to the PlayStation Vitas.
Right, and that's a tablet coming out
very similar.
this
Like,
year.
all of their cores are nearly identical.
Okay, so let's just say they're neck and neck, probably, about, well, guess what? When the next iPad comes out, we got one surpass the Vita. Point blank. I mean, like I said, I know it's not always about graphics and stuff, but Apple has, with their integration with their Apple TV, being able to use the, what's that feature? AirPlay, where you can stream it to your television wirelessly. Like, Apple's got all this wonderful, like, software just constantly synced up, integrated within this great Apple experience. And it's like, some people, they're like, yeah, Nick, you're an Apple salesperson. I do not mean to sound like that, but I'm just spitting facts here. Like, I find myself, like, I have an Apple TV, I have a MacBook, I have an iPhone. When I go to work, I work on an iMac. It's like, Apple, 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 Apple. But the experience is so seamless. And like I said, if you do not see Apple being a force to be reckoned with within the gaming industry, do your research. You can quote me on it, because they will be. Trust me. They may not be up to spec with Sony and Microsoft with the next PlayStation and Xbox launch, but I guarantee you that during the console cycle of the next PlayStation and Xbox, Apple will be something that companies will need to take a look at if they aren't already, because they should. So just pointing that out.
My comments on this is, I want good games on affordable platforms. I want good affordable games on affordable platforms. I don't care who's making them. If that happens to be Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, Apple, fucking Valve, great. It's, whoever can give me the best experience. Right now, it's a combination of the PC and my PS3. In the future, it may be a fucking Apple, maybe an iPhone 6 and a PC or
but
an
so
iPhone
yeah,
6 and a
see,
PS4
Bronson,
or whatever.
the thing is, what you just named, Apple, like I said, the games could use a little work. We need more, like, full blown out games. We need better controls. But an affordable platform, Apple's got that on lock. They've got that locked down. Like I said, they have, like, the Modern Combat, which is pretty much like Apple's, GameLoft spinoff of the Call of Duty franchise. Full single-player story, full multiplayer. You can go, like 16 players online, which, the PlayStation Vita version of Call of Duty only does 4 versus 4. But, just pointing out, not hating on the Vita.
Actually, that's a news story this week. Those guys, after Call of Duty, they're going out. They're going out of business.
Nihilistic. They're
only going to be making social games. Like, this is their last console title. So,
what game?
The guys who are making Call of Duty.
And they also made Resistance: Burning Skies.
Yeah. This is giving me even more faith in Call of Duty Vita. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So I mean. Yeah, I'm just pointing the facts, folks. You can call me a hater, call me what you want, but in 2-3 years, remember what I said. Quote, this MP3 file will be remained on the server. So if you say in 2-3 years, oh, Nick never said that, I'll be sure to point a link to it.
No, Nick, I have a question.
What's up?
How big was the check that Apple cut you?
Dude, I'm fucking in like a mansion right now, bro. Like I got me a Lamborghini. I'm picking up my Bentley tomorrow. Like it's pretty nice. Sorry, folks, money first. Nah.
Yeah, okay.
But no, it's
because you know,
I don't have a problem giving a company praise where it's worth it, and Apple knows what they're doing. People will hate on Apple and say, oh, they're just marketing, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? No one markets better than Apple. Name a single tech company that markets better than Apple. And exactly, there's no company that does. Apple's to the point where they don't even have to spend money to market because other companies are paying to market their products. Imagine that. Like a company paying Apple to market their products. That's Apple.
I'll say this. Like, word of mouth means a lot, and you know, there's a lot of positive experience happen with that. You know there's only a couple companies that make that their employees make more per person than Apple. Like
and then you look at what Apple has done. Cell phones have not been the same since the iPhone. Windows has not been the same since Mac OS. If you look at tablets haven't been the same since the iPad.
I don't even think your basic music player has been the same since the iPod. Like before that, it was like.
Well, yeah, the MP3,
right?
Dude, music. Let's skip MP3 players. Music has not. The whole music industry was impacted by the iPad. The iPod. The whole music business was impacted by the iPod. Your MP3 players, how music was distributed, the transition from CDs to digital downloads. That was all initiated by the iPod. There's no arguing. It's a fact.
Yeah, so I don't know, like good for Apple. I am very, you know, like once again, affordable games, affordable platform, and you know, good services is what will make me go to you. But you know, that's why Microsoft gets a fair bit of my hatred. It's kind of why I'm so, you know, neutral with Sony, and why Valve should be cutting me checks. You know, because that like I will praise you if you're, you know, giving me good customer service. I will rag you if not. And Apple, my entire experience with Apple on the iPhone has been incredibly positive. I don't own an Apple computer. I did work on an Apple computer in my journalism classes. That was incredibly positive. And you know, like they if they want to get into games seriously, they can.
Yep. Now, something not... Well, I mean, a lot of people were upset. I mean, I know if I would have bought an iPad this year, I'd have been upset because they've got one that's double the...
good news is that if you buy an iPad in the last 30 days, you can actually...
the last 30 days, right. Right, the last 30 days you can exchange it.
There's some retailers in the San Francisco area in which you can actually bring your iPad in and exchange it for a new one. This way of, you know, avoiding buyer's remorse or something.
Right, but I'm talking people that bought it like at launch March. It's like you have had it like 6 months, and now they've got one double the power. Kind of frustrating.
Yeah, that's something I'm very. One of the things I don't like about what Apple does with their products is, I have an iPod Touch. It's just over 2 years old, and you know that's not so bad, right? Computers that are 2 years old aren't completely outdated. But they've pretty much dropped support for it pretty much already.
Well,
iOS 6 it does not. You cannot get iOS 6 on it.
Well, yeah, the iPod Touches I can agree with. The iPhones I think they're extremely generous because you can run iOS 6 on the 3GS. But this is the thing, like the tablets. Like I'm one of those people where it's like I'm kind of stuck. It's like I don't want a company to stop innovating. I want them to continue producing powerful hardware. And it's like, I agree, one product a year, some people may be like, oh, that's too often. I'm fine with that. 2 products a year is pushing it. Because it's like, okay, Apple is known for having an event every single March. Does that mean March we're going to see the iPad with A7 chip? Or are they transitioning to where, hey, we really just wanted to say our iPad has a more powerful processor than the iPhone, because guess what? It is a larger screen. It should have a more powerful processor, and we have this new Lightning port. All of our other products use the Lightning port, so let's go ahead and integrate that within the new iPad. And then because we're Apple, people are going to buy the new iPad just to say they have the new iPad, so we're going to generate more money, and guess what? What's around the corner? The holiday season. So, bank, let's make more money. Apple, that's Apple. But you can't, like, people hate on them. If you were an executive at Apple, tell me you would not do the same. Tell me you wouldn't.
I would absolutely do the same, and then I would take a bath in $100 bills.
Exactly.
Because I could.
Everyone hates on Apple, but put yourself in their position and tell me you want to do the same. Come on, guys. Like...
No.
Who is
the lead shareholder in that company now?
The lead? I don't know.
Of Apple?
But pretty much, I'm pretty sure a lot of people...
I wish it was me.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people today really wish they invested in Apple back when they were really down in the gutter.
Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of cases of that throughout history, but I wonder if whoever owns the majority of Apple, I wonder what he tries to do with all that money. Like, you really have to think, like, once you get to that point in life, like, what the fuck do you do with it all?
I would think to a certain point your life gets boring, because it's kind of like, okay, I got everything I want.
I can do anything I want whenever I want. Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I've pretty much lived like a king for 10 years now. What do I do?
Yeah, like, eventually you just kind of, like, have to...
Maybe you just start thinking of stupid things, like, hey, I'm going to just throw some random money at companies and see if they go to the ground or not.
Yeah, like honestly,
I don't know, like stupidity investing, maybe.
Well, like at that point, I would just like start, giving it to charities I believe in. Go up to like homeless people and give them like $20. Just be like, here you go. Like, you want to be a good idea or a fun idea? A citywide scavenger hunt for $100 bills. Website up.
Oh man, that's just total chaos.
Yep, there you go.
But something I know something else about during Apple's press conference that they talked about is that they have said 100 million iPads have been sold so far. Now the thing that kind of makes me that seems really amazing considering the iPad came out 3.5 years ago. But how many of those iPads were repeat buyers?
Hey guys, I got some Apple-related news.
What's that?
Sure.
Hey, Borderlands has been pretty successful. So,
oh yeah.
Borderlands Legends is coming out for iPhone and iPad. $5 for iPhone, $7 for iPad. It is a action role-playing game with a top-down isometric view. A cover system. You battle skags, bandits, and other creatures. You'll be able to control 4 characters: Brick, Lilith, Mordecai, and Roland, which were the 4 Vault Hunters from the first game. And it will have the same art style, and like I said, it adds a cover system for the first time in the series. I don't know if it reviews positively or it has a demo. I might check it out. I really like Borderlands 2, so...
Yeah, I saw that. It looks pretty cool. I'll check it out. But I would love to see, like I said, I don't think it's far away, where, okay, Borderlands 3 coming to Xbox 720, PlayStation 4, and iOS. Like, I don't see that being too far away.
All right, well, hey, Nick, I know you like God of War, right?
Well, that's not coming.
This is the world's most awkward transition. But, do you like the movie 300?
Yeah, it was alright. It was pretty good.
If you pre-order God of War Ascension at GameStop, you get a King Leonidas from 300 skin for multiplayer.
It's cool, but it's not gonna give me to pre-order it from them just because I'm not I'm not one of those suckers for pre-order incentives. I'm not
for me, it has to be super fucking awesome. Catherine gave you the soundtrack for the game.
Right, so something like that I can understand, or sometimes you get the collector's edition for free if you pre-order it. That stuff's cool, but you get this skin. I don't care. Like, that one skin I don't, or what I really hate, or like the multiplayer incentives, because it's like, okay, cool, so now you're gonna have some people starting above others just because they pre-ordered. Like, I'm not a big fan of that, but it's whatever. The joy of making money in this industry and understanding that while this is the gaming business, a gaming industry, all these companies are businesses, and you got dicks like Bobby Kotick, and they're gonna run the shit how they want to. So, yeah. Moving along, because of the video game industry, and it was actually kind of interesting because this happened while the Apple event was going on. So I almost wonder if the company did this because they know, hey, Apple's gaining the world's attention. Let's do this now so people don't notice it. And Zynga, their most popular game, Farmville, they have laid off 5% of their full-time employees and shut down their Boston studio. I'm personally not a fan of any of the games that Zynga makes, but at the same time, it's like, those are people's jobs, and this is the video game industry. Always a sad thing to hear about.
Yeah, that's something.
This reminds me of a conversation I heard at PAX between this guy was he just got hired as a programmer with some company up in Seattle, and he had an opportunity to work at DreamWorks, or not DreamWorks, at Zynga. Don't know why I said DreamWorks, which was paying like almost double the salary, but he wanted a job he found satisfying. So I find this kind of funny that just like they were hiring 2 months ago. So I find this kind of funny, and it's a shame that people lost their jobs. Like, that always sucks, and I hope these programmers all get, programmers and artists and whatnot all get quality jobs somewhere else. With good pay and whatnot, and I'm not too surprised. Like,
user disconnected from your channel.
Oh yeah, I don't know how this is kind of news, even though it's Zynga. So that's like a lot of news stories this year regarding game studios closing and people losing their jobs. It's just like the game industry may still be at least in the same revenue state and still making as much money as it did last year. Or nearly as much as last year, but you've got big, huge games closing down. I think you've got the
38 studios.
You got the Austin arm of BioWare shutting down. You've got offices closing in Australia. Sega's downsizing again. It's like a gaming recession in terms of jobs.
It's because the industry's stagnant right now. Like, everyone is saving their new IP for the next gen consoles, so they just kind of need to keep the main hands on board for their current titles. And like, I guarantee you, we're gonna see a bunch of new studios and a bunch of new IP with the next set of consoles. But until that time rolls around, we're gonna keep hearing crap like this.
Yeah. I said, like Bronson said, hopefully everyone that was impacted, they find a new job and get back on their feet. Like I said, I don't care how much you hate the company. Believe it or not every person that works in the company is proud they work there. They're there because they have to pay the bills. So regardless if you like the company
and Zynga apparently paid pretty fucking well.
Yeah. So hopefully they are able to find jobs just as well, or ones that fit the bill, and get back on their feet, and hopefully back in the video game industry. Continuing on, layoffs. We already addressed this already. Sony's laying off 10,000 jobs in the next few months. Like I said, 10,000 jobs is a lot, but it is not as bad as it sounds, just based off the fact that you got to realize how many people are involved with the Sony company. You got Sony Music, you got Sony Pictures, their camcorder division, televisions, PlayStation. Well, yeah, like I said, I'm not saying that's not, like, it's freaking 10,000 people. Like, that's
20%. That's 20% of their workforce.
That's 20%. That doesn't sound right.
I don't know either. The article I read from said it was like 20%.
Yeah, laying off 20% of your company. Oh God! Like, if that's accurate, that's 20%. Like, Sony come on.
Okay, you know what? Never mind.
Okay, good. I was about
that. Yeah, it does make sense because actually according to according to this other source I'm looking at, according to Sony, actually, they have 162,700 employees, so definitely not 20%.
So that's a bummer for Sony, but I actually have some positive news.
What's that?
BioShock Infinite has a release date, and they have announced a special Songbird edition.
Fill us in.
Okay, so the release date is February 26th, 2013. They announced the Ultimate Songbird Edition. It's $150. The bundle's premier item is a 9.5-inch, below a ring of light statue of the game Songbird creature that has been designed by System Shock, BioShock, and Freedom Force concept artist Rob Waters. The developer also took the lid off the $80 premium edition, which includes a 3-inch keychain, a propaganda lithograph, a 25mm handyman miniature, and an art book. Additionally, includes various digital items and a soundtrack. Everything in the premium edition is in the Songbird edition, plus you get the 9.5-inch figure with the light-up base. The premium edition is going to run you $80. And recently they decided they're going to take the multiplayer out of the game, and they've dropped a couple people from the studio. So
nice.
Yeah, that game actually looks really awesome. As a person who really liked the story and world of the first BioShock and actually liked playing it, I'm hoping this turns out to be better because, once again, the world and story looks super cool, but I hope it plays well.
Right. In other news, though, we are just in Gamecast, but I feel like it's important to cover this again. We would like to thank the 3 donators that we had for our Extra Life charity run of Halo Reach on Saturday.
And are you able to view their names so we can give them shout-outs on the show? Or
yes.
I am really sorry.
I'll pull up their names.
I'm really sorry. Just like my internet's kind of running slow right now.
Well, Chart always, always great.
But yeah, I mean, big shout out to everyone that donated, and we really appreciate it. I know it was kind of thrown together at the last minute. Next year, we're going to have really big plans for that, so stay tuned.
Next year, what all the other big sites do? Live stream.
Yeah, next year we're going to have some pretty big stuff going on, so look out for that.
Actually, there were 2 really cool ones. Giant Bomb played through Halo 1, 2, and 3. And GameSpot did 24 games in 24 hours. Each hour, they did a different year in gaming. So they did a game from 1989, 1990, 91, 92, 93, 94, etc. I think cool.
Okay. Sorry if I did not pronounce the names correctly. But we would like to thank Ryan Triller.
She says TGA is the best and donated $10.
Also to, I believe it's pronounced Churl Gorty.
She says, wish I could make the Halo meetup, and she donated $5.
And last to Jerry Tobin,
who donated $12, and he says, just saw Nick's tweet. Sorry for not making Halo night, but there is a donation. So we managed to raise $27 for Duke's Children's Hospital and Health Center in, Duke.
In North Carolina.
In North Carolina, out of our goal of $350. By comparison, other websites were pulling in 15,000, but they have a lot bigger audience, and we're promoting it more. But
next time, we probably needed to plan ours better too.
Yeah, it's good all around that sick kids and are getting money. The Giant Bomb team did 15,000 for kids out in Oakland, the Oakland Children's Hospital, and then GameSpot did one for one out in Ireland, and Screw Attack did one for one down in Texas. So big money going out to all those sick kids. I love to see charities like this because it shows gamers do good things. This and Child's Play are both so positive and so good for they show how good the gaming community is, and it also helps sick kids. So you couldn't ask for much better.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always good to see gaming community get together and do stuff like this. So, big shout out to everyone that contributed. And like I said, next year we expect it to be a whole lot bigger.
Next year, full 24-hour live stream.
Yeah. And next year we're gonna do more than just one game.
Yeah, that too.
Turns out most of the game can last before it starts to run stale is about 3 hours.
3 hours. Zombies was fun though.
Yeah. It was also very annoying if you happen to be one of the 3 zombies who can't seem to get past that impenetrable wall of fire on that one map. That was really annoying.
Oh yeah, Powerhouse. Okay, so for those who don't know Halo Reach, Powerhouse is a map where it's basically a hill, and at the bottom of the hill is a cliff. Everyone stood at the bottom of the hill and just watched as the zombies jumped down and fired at them. It was hilarious. Eventually,
it's not funny if you're not the zombies like me.
In the last 20 seconds, though, you guys broke through and started killing everyone, and I'm just like running
fuck you, bitches.
I'm running for dear life, and I survive. Just everyone dies except for me and like 2 other people to the zombie horde in the last 20 seconds. Oh my god. Yeah, and actually, fun fact for Halo 4, they're changing the name of that. They're changing that game type a little bit to where the zombies are actually members of the Flood, and they actually change character models. But anyway, speaking of Halo 4, we have Halo 4 news, guys.
Move on. Go on.
All right, so they have detailed the DLC for Halo 4.
Oh joy before the game even comes out.
Yep. Gamers wishing to have Halo 4 and all its add-on map packs will end up spending at least $85 to do so, unless they pick up the War Games Map Pass, a $25 offering that gives players 9 maps in total that will release between December and April. The maps will retail for about $10 each, a standalone download, meaning that those who purchase will save about 15%. In addition, players who purchase the map pass will receive 2 in-game helmets, Scanner and Strider, and an in-game emblem entitled Falcon. The War Games map pass is included with the Halo 4 limited edition. The first map pack due out for Halo 4 is titled Crimson, in which it will launch in December and includes Wreckage, Harvest, and Shatter maps, following in February 2013 with a Majestic map pack, which adds Landfall, Monolith, and Skyline environments. Rounding out the offerings will be the Castle map pack. In April, it adds Daybreak Outcast Edition. Halo 4's 25 DLC pass is one of the least expensive offerings, such as Max Payne, Gears of War, Forza, and Borderlands 2 each made $30 passes available. On the highest end of the spectrum are Call of Duty and Forza Horizon, which both have $50 DLC passes. Halo 4 is due exclusively for Xbox on November 6th worldwide. The game is a direct sequel to 2007's Halo 3 and is the first numbered entry in the series outside of Bungie Studios, and is the first installment in the Reclaimer trilogy, which will span Halo 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, that's a hell of a deal. 9 maps for $25. Like,
yep, and I'm getting this part of the collector's edition. So
I don't really know what to think about it.
If you play Halo, that's a hell of a deal, because let's see, if you count in the 2, 3, 30, I spent $35 on map packs for Halo Reach, and I spent at least that on Halo 3, and I spent $40 on Halo 2. So, that's a good value. Not bad at all.
Yeah. So Microsoft, they're going to be bringing in the money with Halo.
Yeah, dude, that Halo limited edition console being the big title of the holiday season with that new bundle they put out for $250.
And it costs $50 less thanks to price cut for the holiday season.
With Skyrim and Forza, I'm telling you right now, for $400, you can get a 360, Skyrim, Forza, Halo 4, and an extra controller. In fact, that actually puts you at 360 or 370. Yeah, that's a perfect gift for a set of teenage kids if you have them.
I don't think teenage kids is the right demographic, Bronson.
Why? Have you been?
I'm sorry. Do I really want to wake up, start playing Halo 4, and the first thing I hear is someone shouting over the microphone, how I should suck someone's dick the next morning.
I would just like to say two things, Anthony. One is the first thing is those people we met while playing Halo Reach were hilarious. There was this guy.
Yeah, there's this dude from Mexico started singing Gundam Style. Yeah.
Oh my god.
It was so great. It was Nick. You should have been at the Halo meetup. It was so good.
I wish I could have. I do apologize. I wish I was there, but like I was expecting to be there during the evening, but then Saturday turned into like a day full of work for me. So yeah, it's like now I'm starting to think it's like, do I even need an apartment anymore? Because I'm starting to sleep in other places. Well, that sounds really creepy and bad. But
I'm starting to sleep in this alleyway.
No, they're really comfortable places and safe. But no, because it's like I've been so busy, like working here, there. And not necessarily travel because it's only like an hour away, but for lack of a better word, traveling, doing things, trying to get things set up. And Saturday it's like, cool, and then it's like, well, okay, staying here 3 hours later than expected, and an hour back in traffic, which is more like 2.5 hours. So I'd end up getting back that night to like 1 o'clock in the morning, and then, which is on Pacific Coast time. Pacific Standard Time, sorry. I'm used to the East Coast. But Pacific Standard Time. And I was like, yeah, that's 4 o'clock in the morning East Coast. So probably not on there. So plus I was absolutely exhausted. So I actually did get some sleep. But like I said, next Extra Life event, I will definitely be on there. Going to make it priority to be on there the full 24 hours live streaming, and we're going to do some pretty cool things, so look out for that. But yeah, Halo 4 is going to be very successful, and I'm looking forward to playing it again. I got to play it at E3 and absolutely loved it. So any other news before we head to the comments and questions?
No, nothing that I can see.
All right, Bronson, I hand it to you.
Okay, Danny Smith, our first commenter says, not a surprise, but another entertaining show, and I'm glad to hear that Nick is finally starting to get settled in. Things are beginning to smooth out. I can tell just by his voice that he is exhausted. I truly respect that, and that's why I've been so successful this early. Where will I be able to watch the New Year's show? Can't wait to show my non-gaming friends, tell them to see that guy. Yeah, it all started with a gaming blog that I have followed. What has work at Bite Size TV been like so far?
All right, so that's pretty much two questions. Where you will see it, do not have information on that yet, but it will be live streamed. So trust me, as soon as the details come out, everyone will know. I'll tweet it out, put it on the website, put reminders up. And depending on how the thing goes, I might be able to invite people, but like I said, keep it on the low right now. We'll see how things go. How's work been? It's been great. Been super, super, super busy. And stressed out, but stressed out in a good way, with good results. So yeah, but definitely New Year's, definitely be sure to check it out. Like I said, as soon as I know how it, like where it'll be distributed and live streamed, I'll let you guys know. So, yep.
All right, Jaceway says, haven't seen Nick still pushing TJ to new heights despite personal success. Something you don't often see. I am in the PlayStation All-Stars beta and I'm loving it. I find it incredibly addictive. While I'm not the biggest fan of the system implemented for destroying your opponents, I think it is being a blast to play online. How do you guys and girls think Sony can improve upon the game to make it more appealing? Have a mode where you either kill players by knocking them out like Smash Brothers, or have a health bar, because otherwise this game kind of like, I've noticed that, like, I played it with my friend John last night, and I chose Kratos, he chose Radic. So I would just keep them in a cycle of just up-close fights, distracting them, and then he'd just keep firing away from across the map. And, you know, we got, like, our supers off on 4 different occasions. And I think focus, like, the more I play it, the more this focus on that's the only way you can kill people is just kind of obnoxious.
Yeah, I agree. I think, like you said, having a way to actually kill your opponents without having to use the supers, I think, would be nice. If they wanted to keep their main focus on the specials or whatever, the supers, that's fine, but at least give an option. because I'm personally not a fan of it, and I know other people aren't as well, so that would have been nice. But other than that, there's not really too much. Like I said, now this is more than just a minor thing. It's pretty much a redesign of the whole game. I would have liked to see not a really cartoony, like I'm not saying extremely mature or anything like that, but a more authentic experience. But we aren't getting that, unfortunately. Just to kind of differentiate from Super Smash Bros. I think would have been nice. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to really say. I mean,
did you guys see that awesome trailer of this game though? That live action one with Kratos and Sakurai?
I heard about it. I haven't checked it out yet.
It was really cool. Like that.
Wait, Sony made a good commercial? Will we see it on TV though? That's the question. I doubt it.
Nope. Did we see any of those 30 Kevin Butler ads last year on TV?
Well, if you think about it, all that budget that they were going to spend on TV pretty much got put on that live action commercial or live action trailer.
They probably put more money into producing the commercial than they're going to spend to market the commercial. Really sad.
Yeah. and it's cool. And
guys, we got this awesome commercial that we blew our entire budget for. Now we got no one to. Now we can't show it.
Yep. And as long as live action stuff is going on, that's pretty cool. There's a Halo mini-series going on right now called Forward Unto Dawn, premiering on Machinima every Friday. It takes place before Halo Reach even, and it's been really good. If you like sci-fi, like stuff like Firefall, you should definitely check that shit out. So, next question, guys. Sound good?
Yep.
Lambo91 says, I finally got to play PlayStation All-Stars thanks to PlayStation Plus. Personally, I did not like it. Hell, I never liked Smash Brothers. The genre is just not my type. Congrats for Bronson on the job. Time to make cash money. Hell yeah, it is. Hell yeah, it is. $8.25 an hour. I'll be living intervention in no time.
Oh, yeah.
Also, congrats, Nick. Wish you all the success. Thanks for addressing my questions. That was fast. I was in the podcast earlier than my comment. LOL. Great episodes again. Question. Iced cappuccino or iced coffee?
Oh my god.
At least that's what I think. Like CAP, I'm assuming that means cappuccino. Also, you spelled
I've
coffee.
I've had iced coffee before, and it didn't really taste good.
Also, Lambo, you spelled coffee wrong. But 2 E's, man. 2 E's.
The 1.5-year English journalism major at work here.
Yep. The reason I mainly like coffee is like an event like PAX, I'm really tired and I need to wake up. Or it's super, super cold. I remember back in sophomore and junior year of high school this happened. For the football team, we'd always have the goddamn charity walks in the middle of October for diabetes. You walk around UNR's campus, the entire thing, 2 laps for diabetes, and it's at 7 in the goddamn morning. And it always fell, and both times it fell on my birthday weekend. And both times my friend Ben and I forgot about it. So we're up all night, Saturday night, and then of course I have my alarm clock set for 5:30 so we can get down, dressed and everything down there. But we forget, that we have a thing in the morning. And we get like 2 hours of sleep, and we just get jeans on, get our jerseys on, and go, not thinking, hey, it's fucking the middle of October in Reno, Nevada at 6 in the morning, so it's gonna be fucking freezing. So we get out there and we're freezing to death, just like, oh. And when they started giving out free coffee, and it was nasty free coffee, it did not taste good. It was the greatest thing ever. It's like all warm. And there were several times where I just got refills on coffee just to keep my hands warm. Oh god. So yeah, those are the 2 times I drink coffee. Either super tired or super cold. It needs to be one of the 2.
I just love coffee.
I prefer tea.
Time
I
for
know.
tea.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is there was this
too.
one time I was out with family. I had a lot of these little tea glasses. I have a lot of those, and then I had 2 full glasses of soda. So not only was I jacked up on the caffeine in the tea, I also had a lot of sugar, so you can imagine what it was like for me to sit there and constantly laugh at everything and couldn't stop smiling like a moron.
I wish caffeine affected me like that.
Well, you gotta. Well, it's not just the caffeine, but this is like 2 entire glasses of soda also. So not only did I have caffeine, but I had sugar too, on top of that. Freaking that stuff just kicked in, and I couldn't like stop laughing at the dumbest things.
No, I remember at PAX 2011, Sunday morning, I was just dead. I was dead to the world. I got up, forced myself out of the bed, and limped my way down the stairs to the nearest Starbucks, and just downed the biggest thing they had, and it was like Popeye eating the spinach. Just like da 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 da. Like, oh, thank God. And then I proceeded to go on to PAX the rest of my day and function sort of well, because by the end of Sunday, you're cooked. At least I am. Which begs to, which this was actually old news, but hey, they're adding a 4th day to PAX Prime.
Yep.
So
that is awesome.
That's gonna be awesome, but.
But how much more exhausted are you going to be when you get back? You'll be dead the next morning.
I'm going to take the taxi back to my house or the train and pray to God I don't have work that Tuesday.
Yeah, you see, for me, that's going to be terrible because I'm certain to have class that day. So I'm just going to come back and be like, oh, precious sleep. Oh, because, back up in thin air is not very good when you're already tired.
Oh, you are going to feel
it's
like
just like
shit.
If you rested well, going up to higher altitudes isn't going to affect you too much. But if you're tired, going back up to higher altitude makes it much worse. And then I'm just like, oh, precious sleep. And then 6 hours later, no, I did not sleep enough. But, class.
Yeah, I remember Quinn and I, our plane flight was at 7 in the morning, so we had to be up at like 5:30 after going to bed at 1. And like I get out of the airplane and we get into Reno Tahoe International, and just I feel so awful, and not just because I'm in Reno, for the fact that I can feel the dry air mixed with the altitude change. I just feel like total shit for the next couple days. Yeah, no, like for you, Anthony, you're gonna have to if you want to get back for time in class, you're gonna have to leave that night on a plane.
I probably may have to skip a couple lectures on that day.
Yeah,
because I'm probably gonna just be like, you know what? Screw the alarm clock. Screw going to class. I'm just gonna sleep until I wake up and feel all right.
That's what happened to me on 2011. Like we got back in time. We left PAX right after it left for our 16-hour drive. And we get back to my house at 6:30 in the morning, and I looked at God. I'm like, man, I got class in an hour and a half. Not going to that. No, it wasn't gonna happen. Like I ended up I slept so well. Yeah, like Mark was still there because he was visiting from California. Because he took a plane to California to go drive with us up to PAX, and we started Red vs. Blue DVD within 20 minutes in, just both out cold. Yeah, so that altitude change is a real bitch. Coming back. Nick, I know you lived in relatively low altitude your entire life, right?
Yes.
Okay, if you ever go to a high altitude area, you are gonna feel like shit.
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
High.
Yeah, that's one advantage. Denver sport. Like I'm a big fan of the Broncos and the Rockies, and of course all them. And that's one advantage those teams have is away teams have to come up to Mile High Stadium and just feel like shit if you.
Something else that really sucks at high altitude is if you're driving, your car suddenly feels very gutless.
Yep.
It's like I need air.
Yeah, no, Quinn says he doesn't notice it that much, but Hayden and everyone else I've talked to says going from Reno to Seattle or Reno to San Francisco or any close to sea level area, they instantly feel better. Like I remember we would have in football we'd have UNR camp, which is training camp up at the college with a bunch of other teams that get brought up there to scrimmage each other, and we'd play these teams from like the Bay Area, and they'd just be done after the first quarter. They'd just be totally gassed, you know, because that's what altitude does, and a lot of people don't know that. Like people don't know the altitude thing.
Yeah, I've heard about it, just never experienced it.
Oh, hey, you know what? Come up to Reno sometime.
I'll pass.
You can. Actually, honestly, if you want to have a good time in Reno, fly up here during the summer. We'll go out to Lake Tahoe. Lake Tahoe is actually really awesome.
Very beautiful.
It is gorgeous. The water is so clear. It's a beautiful lake. That is the one thing I can compliment Reno on. It is within 2 hours of Lake Tahoe. So,
I'd say even less than that. It's probably just a 1 hour drive.
yeah.
Hey, we should probably look this up.
Yep. Thanks for the questions, everyone. Oh, Anthony and I might be on our last episode of Super Mega Awesome Go Playtime this week.
Maybe. We don't know, but we're right at the doorstep of the ending, and if we get one shot again, well, it isn't much grinding to have another attempt at it.
Yeah, so expect that coming up, and then the next Let's Play is Ashton and I. So...
And also Eddie. So expect the title now to become Russell, Anthony, and Ashton Super Mega Awesome Go Playtime Halo 1 Episode 1.
Halo Combat Evolved.
Oh, okay. Bronson, Anthony, and Ashton Super Mega Awesome Go Playtime Halo Combat Evolved Episode 1.
And then we're going to do 2 and 3, and then Ashton and I are planning to do Penny Arcade.
Does that title would even fit on the website header?
No, I can't wait. I cannot wait to do Penny Arcade, because that is Bronson and Ashton's Super Mega Awesome Go Playtime Penny Arcade on the Rain Slick Precipice of Darkness.
What?
Episode 3.
Would you like to do a Street Fighter 2 Turbo HD remix?
What in the world?
Bronson Anthony and Super Mega Awesome Go Playtime PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale Turbo HD Remix Episode 1.
That title's a paragraph.
Yeah, no, that is the title of the Penny Arcade games. Penny Arcade on the Rain Slick Precipice of Darkness, Episode 1, 2, and 3. So.
Oh.
Yep.
I'm wondering if it actually can fit in the website header. It just has this whole giant button on the front page and it's just this huge list of words for a title.
I'm actually really
honestly, this may get out of hand to the point which you may have to shorten the show down to Super Mega Awesome Go Playtime. You know, just that.
I will say that I've played the first hour of Penny Arcade, and that game is going to be like the world's best Let's Play. It is so fucking it's so good.
Okay. We should really actually wrap this up. It's getting kind of late.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool, so that wraps up Unscripted Access, episode number 26. Thank you all for listening. We are out.
Bye. Comment on our text reviews, please. We put a lot of work into those.
Peace.
Bye.